busting the world's
you know
oldest
Jesus
conspiracy by
defines Holy
revealing the
Spirit?
first writers' formats in the Bible. Have you ever wondered who is editing the Bible? These are some of the words written by the 1611 King James translators that are wrote in its preface. They state 4 reasons how anyone can re-edit the text in the Bible. Their third reason is by the light and feeling we attained unto ourselves. The next arrow down points to them writing, a great clerk, Gregory, is the divine, spelt with a capital D. At the bottom, they will tell you by studying the Bible, your reward is to have a participation in a heavenly nature. Whereas the Bible's words should be telling you how to be obedient to our Creator to enter into heaven. Now you know by their own words, they are not the good guys editing the Bible. Here, let me show you the 12 commandments that are listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Surprising, isn't it? Now let me show you how I changed one word in Exodus chapter 26, verse 26, the word bars to arches, and now you know that these planks make the hip roof for the tent for meeting for Yv. Why did I just use 2 letters for our Creator's name? Well, Hebrews did not have the letters J, O, or W in their language. Therefore, I am closer when I say the letters YV in English than anyone else. It is better to learn how to pronounce these 2 letters in Hebrew. Our Creator made me see Him 8 times, and these videos are my recording of how and why I am re-editing their text. Then all these books that I am editing will be made into one book in order. In my YouTube description, it has our Creator's hidden formats in a PDF of the same text. In fact, it is a message to everyone today and in the future. I have also made many different styles from these hidden formats for copyright reasons. I will start by telling you that I'm finding hidden formats in the Hebrew text. The Hebrew formats are 2 major words connected with the least amount of small words to make a verse. And then what this is a 4-verse format. A 4-verse format means there's a comma and then there's a period, and this will make a sentence, a comma and a period. Okay, now that repeats itself a lot for a 4-verse. And then that will make a small paragraph. They'll have 2 of these put together with similar text that will then become, again, like a larger paragraph. Now, what I've done is I've already went through and shown how I got these formats and explained all my editing. The thing here is what I've done now is I've started these, putting them in order so they aren't exactly the words in order. The words are in order, but you can see this came from chapter 10, and it was part 1, and here's part 2. But because it's a 3-verse and this is a 4-verse, but the stories go together really well. Now, these are some of my markings here that still says that I want to make sure that the subject matter stays together. So, oops. And I needed to erase that one. Now, what this does is this starts to put the book where I can mesh all the text together to make one long book, and we don't have any other books. We've got these are first writers formats, and this is what they wrote. And that way all other editing that was added are just thrown out. And I have many videos that explain when I'm editing these, that I go word for word through them. And I have maps, I have other references to show why I'm doing this, or correcting the editing and changing the names or whatever. So here it's a 3-verse, but it has a space in between here because there's something missing here. So the thing here is I'm leaving it as a space right now, it might mean that it's just the text that's above it that needs to be added, and then it just continues with the story. So what I did, and then I'm showing that I have a larger break here, that there's going to be text that's probably going to be added in here when I look at the other books, because I think in Kings there's a lot about David, and this is because we got David in Hebron right from when Saul dies. So that needs to, let me see something. Maybe I've got this, maybe I'm saying this wrong here. Let me check real quick. Did I put them together here? Because I'm going to show you how I put the two books together, and I needed to edit more. So nope. Okay. This is all of it together right now. Sorry about that. I was confused myself because I haven't been here for a while looking at when I put it together. I'm trying to get books together and then making only one video a day right now. But then David battles the Philistines, and I'm starting to put titles on these, or chapter titles, and then I'll be removing these words here when I go to put them together at some point. First I'll mesh them together so everybody sees where they come from, and then I'll have to clean up that and get rid of the numbers, but everything is traceable backwards in everything I'm going to do, and I'm recording this for history as well. Sorry about that. And this shouldn't have been capital, it should have been, or bold. This is when the nation is one as Israel, as a complete whole nation. When it's bold like that, and I have another meaning that it's when our Creator divides the two into two different nations. But actually, at Saul's time, they were divided. We have no understanding why, but they were. But David puts them back together as one. I still haven't decided whether I'm going to now change this name. I've just agreed on this name. Is a location for the city. I'm not going to show you maps today. The object is that there will be maps stuck in the book that shows this, and just like in the description right now or chat, I have a link that shows our Creator's Everlasting format as a complete book, so you can click on that and you can see what I intend to do with this text here, doing it differently. That's our Creator's Hidden Formats, which is very sophisticated format, but this is just revealing and proving the first writer's formats in the text, which gives a lot more information than what I was finding in our Creator's Hidden Formats. So if this book, how is this book going to be used? I'm not sure yet. I'm almost like this has got more text into it. Can I trust this to be as true as, or truer than our Creator's Hidden Formats? I'm not sure yet. Now here I had to correct some text. And this goes to, this we know is a king that is in Damascus. He's the Armenians or Armens. Okay, that's, and the people in it are called Armenian. But the thing here is this other king, I don't have a location from him except for this city, and that would be like his capital city. So I don't trust anything that's out on the internet. I'm trying to find it, all the meanings that would be are given to us in the Hebrew text. And I needed to edit this as they came up. He helped him. It was kind of these two guys together, and then he killed him and the Armenians too. But he didn't. I don't think he killed this guy here. I think his son puts a towel over, or wet towel over his mouth so he can't breathe and he dies. But that's because I know the story of a prophet that's going to meet his son. I think it's Elijah, and then here he is a king, so I had to correct this. And then I got him, this guy here, because he's in Lebanon. And then we've got another name for the king for Lebanon because it's here. I realized that I got to only use one name, so I decided on this guy's name here. And then because it's a 4-verse, I needed to add text because when I put the stories together, we needed the answer of where he built, this guy built the house. Now, I've got it here in Shiloh, okay? And Shiloh is a city where the priest's wives and family lived, and then the tent for meeting would have been down the road half-mile because they're burning meat. It's not a good smell, so that's got to be quite a ways away. But Shiloh is also a city which would be like an inn for people to come in to go down to the tent to make their sin offering. Other than that, the house that's being built, this is a house for David, but it's only in Shiloh when David goes to Shiloh to seek our Creator. Okay, now he's in Hebron, and he's going to go up to Shiloh from time to time to the tent for meeting. Now when David lived in that house, okay, then it's Nathan came to him. So we have David ruling from Hebron so many years, and then in Jerusalem he ruled the rest of the time. So David would be visiting Shiloh, and that's why this house is in Shiloh, okay? It's awfully hard. It's the text of this builder coming down has to make sense, and I think that's a big change from what everybody knows or has been taught, because the text is so distorted that when you read it, you really think that, yes, it is where it's in Jerusalem, but this happens when David is battling after David is battling these guys, then this guy thanks him and he wants to build a house. So I think I've covered what I wanted to explain here, is why I'm putting that text here. Now these will be in the descriptions on the YouTube side. So other than that, you can't. I don't think you can take that many screenshots to put them together. That'd just be painful. So stop by and watch another YouTube video here in about a week and a half. I should have everything together. Here's where I'm correcting where it was. Shiloh, the house was in Shiloh, and then in the west of Shiloh is located west of his tent. So I had to correct that as well when I realized where the house is at. See, gathered tribes to Israel, but it said his house was in Jerusalem. That can't be true. Because David's moving from here, and he's going to have a house that he's going to rebuild in Jerusalem. So there's that type of if I put, I guess the other question that came up about here, built houses for him. Okay. Now that would change a lot, but I just want to make sure that for right now, if I use the word a house, that it would be in Shiloh. And actually, you can see a lot of chapter or Chronicles 1 stayed together, had a lot of pieces, but you can see that this was what, 21, and then it goes back to 20 or 19. So a lot of times when people are reading the Bible, and I did read it probably 5 times before I started editing the text on the computer. There was these stories pop up and you're kind of like, how come it's not in the correct order? It was when you're reading anything in the Bible, it's like the writers have no idea how to put a story together in a complete of beginning to end. Example, you have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I put them all together and it tells a great story. Why did they make 4 books out of 1 book? The other thing is it was so confusing and really out of order. But what you can do is look at other books in the Greek text. You'll find that their stories are right in order. So it's this making the Hebrew writers look stupid by not being able to put things together in order. Yeah, what you're finding here, or what you're actually seeing, is Jesus's prophecy, or I am his helper, putting all these together to have the true truths about Jesus. I had to get rid of this verse, and I put in this verse, because after they had fled and battled him, or battled everyone, then David went around and gathered the riches from their city, their gold, their silver, their bronze, and that was to help make our Creator's house. And then it was that they paid him tribute. I don't know how many times a year, but the thing there is they paid them like their taxes or whatever we'd call them today. Then David summons to build his house. And then the plans that David had, he's going to give them to David. Then Solomon is given wisdom, and you can see now this is starting a chapter, or Chronicles 2. So I've made, that's the distinction of the coloring here, to show that I've combined the books together. And then when the stories fit together, I should have mentioned this before, this is how they're going to be sewed together. So at least now they just seem to read as one story. And it continues. And I'm not sure, so I still have, these are my, keep remembering to check on this stuff to make it more accurate, or be as accurate as possible. You can see this is going to be a very long story. And I just want to be talking about what they made and for the house. There's other items I know that are missing in this list, but these are the major items. Okay. Here they put the items into the house. This shouldn't be capital or bold. Then he petitions. Petitions mean he's asking our Creator for something. and it's about the captives that are in other countries. If he sends them away, that if they repent, they're to pray towards uh, Jerusalem. And then why he consumes his peace offering here. And then Solomon, I have rebuilt his house. So in the years that David was still there at Jerusalem, because he's there like 30 years, he had to have a nice house, because he was up on the roof when he seen his wife, Bathsheba. So the thing there is, I had to rebuild his house. And Solomon did make it probably more. You got to understand that he was collecting a lot of gold from a lot of other kings when they're coming to him. So it was kind of like you can see that he made himself a great throne, where David was living more of a humble life. Like, I don't need nothing extravagance. I'm just a king. I'm just another person like you, obeying our Creator. Then these stories go together really well for right now. I don't think there's going to be, I think there's going to be other texts from other books, but they'll be meshed into these stories if I find more wording that's missing here. Boy. Okay, now this is the nation Israel. And this actually needs to be all caps. Like that. That's when they're good, and I'll make them small caps when many in Israel heard Jeroboam. So this is when the story isn't there yet, but it's talked about a prophet approaching Jeroboam and saying that you're going to become a king, and it'll be divided into two nations. So that text is missing from this story. So I have the space here to enter that. And then Rehoboam goes to Shechem. And the story about their heavy workload, that is about when you look up quarries, you're going to find a limestone quarry by Shechem. Now, limestone, they could shape it. It was a little bit easier than the granite. And what it was is they used that for the fence around the house for our Creator, and then it might even be for the floor for our house for our Creator in the courtyard, and then it would have been that they would have built up the walls to fortify it out of the limestone quarry. So here's the argument that our work is too heavy, and all of a sudden this is going to be the story that divides them up. So maybe that should have been Israel. Yeah, I think that's not bold. This is still all for Israel. All Israel. No, I'm going to leave it bold because this is starting to be divided, and this is a group that was divided before. It's kind of hard to explain this one, but once you understand and you have the text from Samuel and Saul, how Saul was just becoming a king, and that he had to gather from they were two pieces by then, but there's no text saying why. So I always I get started, and then I realize that maybe this is I got to go back through and check all these. If I left them, I left them for a reason. Now I can't think of the reason why I left them that way. Let me put up Psalms over to the side. I like putting the Psalms up there because they're about Jesus. And that way you can do a screen capture, or you can go into the YouTube video side and find them. See, now this is Judah as a nation. They're now divided. And now this is the story about Asa going to battle Jeroboam at Bethel. And that's because the story is in Bethel. See, now this is the evil Israel, because Jeroboam had him put a golden calf, and this is your gods. And what he was trying to do is prevent them, his kingdom, of going and meshing back with Judah to become one, to lose his kingdom or his people and his wealth. And he made up another god from the Egyptians, or gods, and that was why people had left Jeroboam. And there's texts that will say that the Levites left. Where was this? Anyways, you'll have to read the story. And then here, these also left, and they left. They too left Israel, come to Judah. But you notice it's just a tiny part from 15. Where is this from here? 13. So that far away from the text, I found it, and it goes here. Now this is the nation Israel, and it's a good king I've got right now, because I got a capital letter here. Oh, because Asa is going to battle with him, I think. Yeah, well, this you'll figure it out more than me trying to remember exactly what I wrote when I wrote. But I want to just go through and show you how I needed to add some of these things. These are notes for me for later. This, I believe, is now going to be the wrong prophet. Now I'm pretty sure this is the wrong prophet at this time. I'm thinking it's Elijah. But we have King Ahab now. A lot of this is changing kings really quickly here. Jehoshaphat is the next king after him. Okay, I need to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be right back. I'm gonna sit up. Sitting a lazy boy, so when it gets, I got everything on my lap, keyboard and everything else put to here to make this video. So been nice. Been in a video or been in a lazy boy or a nice reclining chair. Oh gee, since before 1988, I think. So wherever you see all those kids with their computer chair, nothing beats a nice, comfortable lazy boy or a recliner. Yeah, I don't have the lazy boy anymore. It's a recliner, so don't know the name brand. Okay. Then Assyria took Israel. So you can see that this Chronicles has a lot about the order of the kings. So when it comes down to the books named Kings and then Chronicles, and then you have the prophet's name or like Exodus or Genesis, those books or those scrolls would have been separate. They wouldn't have had a scroll that could be a couple 100 feet long. They would have had many scrolls. And so the thing here is that the text, I think they started out as scrolls. I just don't know when they changed over to papyrus, which is known as a manuscript. In Egypt, there was along the river when the reeds are coming up before it hits the top of the water, they're white and kind of palatable or whatever, that when they pick them, they can mesh them together to make a book or make a page for a book. But I'm just not sure, so I don't know the word when I'm using a scroll all the time. I know in a vision our creator would have given them a scroll, but the thing here is when did they start using a manuscript or this papyrus paper? This is going to be a long story as well. You've seen them grouped together. Okay, now what happened in the text, I kept getting this, what I would say is a review for a certain king. And it's just a quick description of here, like David ruled 40 years, 7 years in Jerusalem. Oh, and he reigned in Hebron 7 years, and in Jerusalem 33 years, 3 tens and 3. And then he died, and then it tells these are written in Chronicles, and it should be written in not Chronicles, because Chronicles would be the ordering of things. This should probably be Kings, written. First laugh are written in Kings. So because we have some stories from David, but all of a sudden we're going to have a whole lot of stories. I think when we get to Samuel. So, but what happens is these are just names being listed, like here's David's sons all listed. Now, I couldn't plug this text in anywhere. So that's why I'm that's why there's going to be like a secondary book, or it might be like the intro somewhere before Kings comes along. Like when I put it in order, it'll be before Samuel, maybe. that this overview of what's going to happen, because see, I don't have Saul listed here and how much he ruled, but what happens is then there's David's sons, and then these are pretty much, we have this all mentioned right up in here, that Solomon is going to be born king. So and then we have the whole list of kings. So this is like a review of David's lineage. And then we got, okay, here's a review of Solomon. And see, this is listed where he's at here. But do I take these individual pieces and move them around? I think that's going to be at a different time that I will be moving these around. So, but this information here has to be made sure it goes together. I tried to figure out why this isn't like, this should be before this, but because that's how David's is. This is, and then the different writers, that's the way they wrote it, I guess. And then we have about Rehoboam, his son being king for a while. And then here we have Rehoboam's sons. And then we have Asa. Now, what this is about is, see these names right here. I'm going to go through right now, and they are in order, like what you see these kings listed here. So that's what you're seeing here, one king to the next king. So when I put them all together, you can see that this is like this, and then this, and then this happened, because like I said, when I had up here these names here in order, and now you're getting them in order again, but a little bit more detail about them. That I just didn't know where to put this text except for making it separate. In our Creator's Hidden Formats, I'm pretty sure I tried to stick them where, like after the end of that stories about what happened during that time of that king, then I'd put these at the end. So that might what happen as well here. So this I found just as untrue, or yeah, this I found it was untrue, so that had to come out. And this story is like, maybe I'm going to take this and put it in with him, because this doesn't sound like what you just been seeing, little pieces. Like this has a story, and this is like should all this story be before I get something like this? You know, I know I'm randomly speaking. Sorry about that, but the thing here is some of that text just sticks out that it's stuck in here wrong, because we got so many of these that just do this, like they. Anyways, I guess when you examine it, and look it over real good, you'll see what I'm got these questions in my head for. And then this is going to be the last king for Israel. Yeah, see here, this here story as well about Manasseh. This guy did all these things. This should be probably moved someplace else, because you can see this is too much of a story and not just a quick bite about him, or quick info on him. Like I said, a review. But this you can see as a review, that the people killed him, and then the priests killed the conspirators, and then the people made Josiah, a good king's son, a king. So like when you see that, that'll be this happening. So these are sons, 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 and then they went and got this. So you know that this guy was born later in his life, and then how old can he be made king? He surely could have been made at 7. So that's why I knew the text was wrong about the 7. I got him at 28 years old, that when he was made king. And even that now might be wrong, but and then I have this not labeled because this is now talking about a story about this guy's life at this time, but where does it really go? Where does it really go? I just don't. All these things they're ready. Whoops. Yeah. Okay. There's the same story. But this is a review. Well, these are Israel kings. That's why I didn't put them up there. These are Israel's kings. But so this would have been a quick story about these are coming from Israel's side. So one, I kept all of Judah's kings in order, and then these are Israel's kings. So I guess I should have, although I couldn't mesh it because we're talking about this king in this story, and then it's yeah, it's going to be a story about this. Let me see what's going on with this. Okay, no, this again is Judah's king still, because I know I'm going to start getting some of these kings' names, I believe. Yeah, here's Asa. So these are going to be from the other side. Now you see Jehu, you see his name, you see Pekah. Now these, I'm going to try to keep. See, I got like Asa, Jehu, this guy, his son, and then way down here, him. So you can see there's a lot to be put into here for the text there for assembling of the order for the kings for Israel. So you can see like they would have had scrolls or books made for kings from Israel and kings from Judah. And because now this is Nebuchadnezzar, this has to be moved way to Jeremiah's text, even though it was found in Chronicles 28 or 2 Chronicles 36. It goes with Jeremiah because this is the end for the name of Nebuchadnezzar didn't appear until Jeremiah. So somewhere this text has got to go from Jeremiah forward. And that's going to be the end of the video for today. I'm just hoping that I can get to another video here quicker than usual. I try to put out 2 a day, and that's not working anymore. It's got a lot going on in my life right now, so I can't just do what I like doing here. But I will be posting more videos. Stop by, take a look, make sure you spread the word. This is prophecy, believe it or not, in your days. Thanks for watching.